Penny from Heaven by Jennifer L. Holm. Chapter 3, Mrs. Morelli's Brains, Part 3. What are you waiting for? A tip? Frankie mimics angrily. I'm steering now. Frankie's sitting in back. You see her cheek? I ask. Frankie doesn't say anything, but his arms tighten around my stomach. Mrs. Wiederhorn's a widow, and when she opens the door, she says, Children, how are you? Are those for me? Why don't you come inside and I'll get you some lemonade? Thanks, we say. It's a small house, and every surface has a crocheted doily on it. She leads us into the kitchen, where a tired old cat stares at us from a cushion in the corner. Hi there, Miss Sniff, I say to the cat. How old's Miss Sniff, anyhow? Oh, very old, dear. Mr. Winterhorn gave her to me for our 50th anniversary. Help yourselves, she says, and pushes a plate of cookies towards us. We each take one. They're hard as rocks. I politely sip my lemonade and pocket my cookie. It rubs against the lucky bean, which I always carry with me now. Mrs. Wiederhorn is smiling at us. She doesn't seem to notice that she's still wearing her nightgown and it's lunchtime. How are the cookies, dears? She asks. Real good, I say. If you're trying to kill someone, Frankie murmurs under his breath, and I have to bite my lip to keep from laughing. What was that, Frankie? Mrs. Wiederhorn asks with a confused look. I said they're better than my own mother's, he says with a bright smile. Frankie's the best liar I know. Aren't you sweet, she says, pleased. Take another. We don't want to ruin our dinner, ma'am, Frankie says quickly. Such good children, she says, and then turns to me. How is your father, Penny? I stammer. Good, thanks. Your father is such a lovely man, she says. He always brings me tomatoes from his garden. Next to me, Frankie groans, but I elbow him in the ribs and just say, He sure is. Everyone knows that Mrs. Winterhorn's been a little forgetful since her husband died. Well, a lot forgetful, I'd say, seeing as my father's been dead for years now. She pays us and then offers us more cookies, but we say we have to go. We got more deliveries, Frankie tells her. We wait until we're out of eyeshot of her house, and then we both throw our cookies into a bush. Frankie says she's pazza. Pazza is Italian for crazy. Yeah, but she's nice, right? I mean, the cookies and all? I guess, he says. You ever been to Mrs. Morelli's house? I ask as he pedals down the street. Nah, but I know Johnny Ferreira. He lives next to her. The Morelli house looks sort of strange, like someone started to paint it and then gave up halfway through. There's a fence around the backyard with a sign that says BEWAR space OF space DOG. Beware of dog. Looks like the Morellis can't spell in addition to not being able to paint. You got the brains? Frankie asks as we walk to the front door. Do I ever, I say and grin. The geraniums on the front porch are dead, and a chair with a broken seat leans against a post. Frankie rings the doorbell, and a dog starts barking from behind the fence. A big dog, judging from the barking. What do they need a guard dog for? Frankie asks, looking around. Nothing here worth stealing. Maybe we should come back later, I say nervously. Is she home or what? Frankie says, standing on tiptoe and peering through the window of the door. I can't see a thing. The gate to the fence is shaking like a dog is throwing his whole weight against it. I don't want to meet this dog. Frankie, I say, tugging his shirt, but he just ignores me and rings the bell again. Hey, Mrs. Morelli, delivery from Felucci's, he shouts. There's a cracking sound. We turn and see the most enormous dog standing on what used to be the gate to the fence. It's a monster of a dog. Doberman, German Shepherd, maybe a little Rottweiler around the face. Whatever it is, it's mean, and it starts growling when it sees Frankie and me standing there on the porch. Good dog, Frankie says as we slowly back away from the door. See, we're leaving. For a moment, it seems like the dog is going to back down, but then his whole body goes still, the way the principal, Mr. Shoop, gets before he whacks you with the roller. Run, Frankie, I shout. We run for the bicycle like our lives depend on it, which they do. Frankie jumps on and I grab one after him and he starts pedaling. The dog doesn't seem to care that we're off his property because he takes off after us, drool frothing at his mouth. This dog's out for blood. Faster, Frankie, faster, I shout as the dog lunges at my feet. The dog is a bite away from me, and I'm thinking that the lucky bean Uncle Dominic gave me is more of an unlucky bean when Frankie shouts, Throw him the brains! Throw him the brains! I'm still holding the bag of calf brains. Here you go, boy, I shout, flinging the bag. The last thing I see before we round the corner is the dog standing in the middle of the street, gobbling up Mrs. Morelli's brains. End of part 3 for chapter 3.